The PlayStation Store is running its phenomenal great indoor sale right now, and I'm telling you guys, there are so many deals to go over. We already uploaded one video taking a look at 12 great deals under $10. We could do a video looking at great games under $5, but in today's video, I decided to remove the budget constraints, and these games are high quality titles ranging from $12 all the way up to $30. They're all worth the money, and I should also mention that the prices we take a look at are the prices taking into account with a PlayStation Plus subscription. I imagine the majority of you guys are Plus subscribers, so that shouldn't be a big deal if you guys aren't. I do believe the PlayStation Store is selling a 12-month subscription right now for $45, which isn't a bad buy in its own right. So without further ado, let's get right into it, and kicking things off, I do want to give a shout to Dishonored Death of the Outsider, the Deluxe bundle. Now this does come in at a hefty $29.99, however, it includes the base Dishonored 2 game as well as Dishonored 2 Death of the Outsider, which was a standalone expansion. Dishonored 2 is a great game, and I wish it was a little bit cheaper at this point. We're, what, 2.5 years removed from that game's release? You would hope that it would be a little bit less than $20, but there you have it. It's still at $20. Death of the Outsider, on the other hand, is available for $15. The bundle, however, does save you an additional $5 versus buying the game separately, so I do think that's pretty good. Dishonored 2 itself is a tremendous game, and I think it's a sizable improvement over the first title. Just more variety in the gameplay. You've got 2 playable characters, and the story is just as good, and again, the gameplay is on par as well. Death of the Outsider, not quite as good, but still a very good experience. And if you've never experienced Dishonored, they do also have like an ultimate bundle with Dishonored 1, Death of the Outsider, and Dishonored 2. That's available for $40. Dishonored 1 alternatively is available for $10. So they have all the Dishonored stuff on sale. If you've yet to get into the franchise, I would highly recommend you to do so. And I would recommend you to play through the games chronologically, so you can jump in with Dishonored 2, but I would say start with Dishonored 1, then go to Dishonored 2, then Death of the Outsider. Next up, another Bethesda published game, Doom, is available for $11.99. Now, with the impending release of Doom Eternal, that'll be coming hopefully sometime later this year. It's a great time to check out 2016's Doom title, which I thought was one of the more underrated games of 2016. This was just a great first-person shooter. However, the difference with Doom in terms of its offerings versus a lot of other FPSs is that I really think the star of this game was the single-player component. It just had great pacing, great gameplay, a lot of high-octane moments. Of course, you got that blood and gore. It's the Doom fare you know and love. $12, still a little bit hefty of a price point. Again, I'm pretty cheap. Seems like these Bethesda published games just generally hold up in price unless it's Fallout 76. But Doom for $12 is a really good buy if you just want a no-nonsense first-person shooter. From a single-player sense, the multiplayer isn't going to offer you much now in 2019, but the single-player is still a ton of fun. Next up, we do have Dying Light for $13.99, and this is very relevant, of course, as it does look like Dying Light 2 will be released sometime in 2019. Dying Light 1 was one of the early games of this generation that was just so good that unfortunately a lot of people didn't end up checking out. Maybe it's because it was such an early game this generation. Back in January of 2015, a lot of people didn't even make the jump to the PlayStation 4. However, if you can go back and you want to play a quality open world zombie game, Dying Light will definitely cover that. Unfortunately, this isn't the following. That's a little bit of a bummer, but $14 for a pretty good open world zombie adventure game, I would say that's a good buy. Dying Light 2 looks like it's going to outpace the hell out of this game, so that's why I would recommend you to play the first game ASAP, and that'll get you really excited for number 2. Next up, we do have Horizon Zero Dawn, the Complete Edition, available for $15.99. Now, this isn't even a steep discount. The Complete Edition of HZD, I believe, is now available for $19.99 regularly. However, that $20 price point already is so insane that the Complete Edition for $16 makes it even better. Of course, this includes the base game as well as the Frozen Wilds expansion. The Frozen Wilds is a sizable expansion. You're talking 10 to 12 hours of additional content, so that's pretty reasonable. And the game itself, of course, is tremendous. It does have some issues from a gameplay standpoint. However, overall, I think Guerrilla Games has set the foundation for what is going to become one of Sony's biggest franchises going forward. And for whatever reason, if you've yet to check out HZD, get the Complete Edition for $16. You will not be disappointed. And if you have a PlayStation 4 Pro, Horizon Zero Dawn is one of the games that really accentuate the power of the PS4 Pro as well, so that's something to note. Next up, we have Metal Gear Solid 5, the definitive experience, for $11.99. Now, if you're looking to get into MGS5, this is the version of the game to buy. They've got the base game for $9.99. However, just $2 more will get you the prequel and Ground Zeroes, and it will get you a bunch of additional content on top of that, in-game items, things like that. And of course, the quality of Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain, has been stated a lot. Along with that has been stated the controversy surrounding the game. I think the controversy has been removed at this point since we are so many years past the release, and people are just going into MGS5 wanting a quality open world action stealth title, and you'll definitely find that. And what I like about MGS5 is that because of its different style of storytelling, because of its different style of presentation, it's very accessible to a newcomer for Metal Gear as well. So in that sense, if you're just looking for a quality open world adventure game and you just want to detach yourself from the grandiose storytelling of Metal Gear, you can do so with MGS5. And $11.99 for the game is of course excellent. Next up, we have another one of the PlayStation 4's marquee exclusives, God of War. That's available for $29.99, so a pretty hefty price point, only 25% off. But let's be real, God of War is easy to recommend at any price point. Many would go as far as to say that this is the best PlayStation 4 exclusive thus far, maybe even the best PlayStation 4 game bar none thus far. I'm a little bit partial towards Uncharted 4 just because I've been a fan of that series for so long, and a little bit of bias definitely comes out with Uncharted, but God of War, definitely a tremendous game and a great almost restart for the game. It definitely carries over the story from the previous titles. However, in terms of gameplay, in terms of presentation elements, there are definitely some nuanced changes, and it's the revitalization the franchise really needed. And now God of War for $30, I would say it is a great buy. Now, of course, we have seen it cheaper. I remember Black Friday, it was available for like 17 bucks over at GameStop as a DoorDash deal. You're not going to find that deal at this point, and the PlayStation Store has had it hold up in price pretty readily. $30 for it, I would say, is a good buy. Again, this is a game that I would recommend at a full $60, and I very rarely recommend games at a full $60, so that just goes to show how good of a game God of War really is. Next up, another game that I would classify as an underrated gem is Prey. This released all the way back in 2017, and it's available for $14.99. Another Bethesda published game. This one was done by Arcane Studios, the same guys that brought you Dishonored, and Prey was a really great single-player first-person shooter. Now, it was a single-player first-person shooter when it came out. They actually added a multiplayer component to it, but I'll assess it strictly from a single-player standpoint, and I love the single-player to Prey. It was just very atmospheric, very absorbing, and when you play it for like an hour, it's very easy to get hooked on the storytelling element, the great sci-fi setting. There's just a lot to love about Prey, and outside of the setting and presentation, the gameplay is also very solid as well. Has a little bit of a Metroidvania vibe to it, not that it's side-scrolling or anything like that, but in that you gain powers, you gain new abilities, and that'll allow you access into other elements of the game that were locked away in the past. Prey is just a really good game. Back when it was released, I was saying it was the most underrated game of the year, and my sentiments carry on with Prey. $14.99 for the game. Again, a little bit steep of a price point, but definitely worth it for what you're getting out of the game. Next up, I want to give a recommendation to the worst titled game of all time, but a very good game, and that is Red Faction Guerrilla Re-Mars-tered Edition. It's available for $11.99. God, I just absolutely hated that name. Re-Mars-tered Edition, really? I get that it's a play on words, but could we have just stuck to Remastered Edition? Would that have been too difficult? I just think Remastered sounds so cringe, but let's get past that. Let's talk about the game itself. Red Faction Guerrilla was released all the way back in 2009. It was an open world sandbox adventure. It was a really good game at that. The story wasn't anything to get super hooked on. However, the real highlight of the game was the destructibility. You could destroy literally anything. You had this sledgehammer, and the destruction and chaos you could cause in Red Faction Guerrilla, man, it was just a blast to play through, pun intended with that one. It originally released at $29.99 back in June of last year, and now it's down to $11.99. I would give it a strong recommendation. Red Faction is a franchise that has really gone to the wayside, but Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered, give it a look. And I believe the PlayStation 2 Red Faction titles are also on sale right now, so if you want to revisit those games, you can do that as well. Next up, we have quite possibly the best deal as a part of this entire sale, and that is the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition. That's available for $14.99, finally getting a little bit cheaper on this one. Hey, if the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition can get down to $14.99, there's no reason why any other game should get cheaper, because if you're talking strictly from a value standpoint, this game is incredible, and a quality standpoint for that matter. For a long time, I was saying The Witcher 3 is the quintessential single-player experience, in that it does everything a single-player game needs to do right in terms of visuals, in terms of storytelling. I thought the gameplay was strong. That's one area some people will disagree with me on, I'll give you that. But the game itself fundamentally is just so good. With the Complete Edition, you get the base game, you get 2 additional expansions, all of that for $15. You're talking north of 150, 200 hours of gameplay. Man, it's an easy sell on that. Of course, CD Projekt Red is now hard at work at Cyberpunk 2077, and the reason so many gamers are excited for that is because of their track record. The Witcher is incredible, and for $15, for whatever reason, if you've yet to play it, you should really fix that ASAP. And lastly, I do want to give a shout to XCOM 2 Collection. That is available for $24.99. Not only does this include the base XCOM 2 game, includes some DLC, but more importantly includes War of the Chosen. That is a very major piece of content for XCOM 2 and really extends the experience. Now, XCOM was actually available as a PlayStation Plus title pretty recently. However, War of the Chosen wasn't a part of that. So just on that front, I would give XCOM 2 a strong recommendation, and it makes a very smooth transition to the PlayStation 4 with more of these tactics strategy games. Sometimes they do get lost in transition, Collection. There were some technical issues at launch, but a lot of that has been remedied, and you're still gonna find a very compelling tactics-based experience here. Again, War of the Chosen really extends the experience as well. And outside of that, you also have 4 DLC packs: the Resistance Warrior Pack, Anarchy's Children, Alien Hunters, and Shen's Last Gift. So all of that for one price of $25 on top of the base game. Yeah, that's a pretty good buy. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, the PlayStation Store's great indoor sale is continuing to run, and there are so many great deals as a part of that. This will not be our last video covering it. I do want to take a look at some super cheap games, because I was just taking a look at the sale, and there are a lot of great games that are well under $5. Great games available for like $2. So if you just have some extra cash on your PlayStation Network account, those games might be good to get, and I'll give them a shout in a future video as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.